really, at the end of these workouts, what are people going to feel like? Are we sweaty? Are we breathless? Are we on the ground? Are my legs quivering? Am I not going to be able to wash my hair the next day? Like, break it down for me.
Literally all of it. Everything that you just said.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's Tonal Talk. I'm Jenna Moore, joined by Coach Woody. And as a performance manager here at Tonal, I have the distinct pleasure of getting to work with our coaches to bring effective and science-informed programs to life and to our community here at Tonal. Speaking of programs, Woody is the face behind some of our most beloved programs here, like Road to Recomposition, Highway to Hypertrophy, Reps the Remix, Power Hour, the list goes on and on. But today we are here to talk about her brand new release, 8 Weeks to Lean. If you have ever wondered how intelligent programming can help you shift your body composition, stay strong, and feel empowered all at the same time, this is the conversation for you. So Woody, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I am so excited to talk about this program with you today.
Jenna, thank you for having me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. I don't think I've ever had an introduction like that before in my life.
I know, we're flipping the script a little bit. Normally you're on this side of the thing.
Yeah, I like to be in the hot seat, I think. This is going to be a fun time. I'm really excited to dive in to the details of 8 Weeks to Lean.
Oh, amazing. So let's just start off really easy. You said you're excited. Tell us why you are excited about bringing this program to Tonal.
Really, truly, for so many reasons. But if I wanted to encapsulate it and just get down to it, it's because this is our first 8-week program we've ever done. And it's my first opportunity to be able to take members and take our community through a program that is a longer duration. They can really sink their teeth into the programming. They can really see some greater benefits. They can really give themselves a chance to discover a whole new level to their training. And I really am honored to be the one to take them through that.
Yes, we're so excited. So tell us, you're talking about, what the members can expect. So who is this program designed for? What is that member, that you're thinking of and you envisioned when you were bringing this program to life?
Everybody. No, truly. First and foremost, I think that 8 Weeks to Lean is going to draw in my loyalists, my friends who love to come to my programs. They love, no matter what I put out, they're always there. They're always showing up. I have to shout them out because I appreciate them and I have great love for my team. Generally, what am I putting out? Higher intensity programs, higher energy programs. That is also the tone here of 8 Weeks to Lean. But this program is also for anyone who has set a goal for themselves to continue to build muscle, preserve muscle that they've been working hard to build, while also shedding that top layer, losing a little bit of unwanted weight, burning fat. Absolutely, that's a massive goal of 8 Weeks to Lean. It's in the name. Anyone who's ready to take their training to the next level, as I mentioned, this really is a program that unlocks a new level of performance. And I'm excited for members to not only dive into this program, but to then see what happens to their training that follows and how that's going to help them push past plateaus and reach new heights. Of course, anyone who's interested in trying a longer term program for the first time, if 12 weeks felt like too much for you, too long, it was an intimidating commitment, well, now we're giving you the option to try an 8-week program and see how you feel about committing to a program for a longer period of time.
I love that. It's nice to not have to think about what's ahead of you for 8 weeks and to really have it mapped out in a way that's just so systematic and intentional. And I think members of all different levels and goals will really appreciate that and be excited for that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So let's break down the concept of getting lean or body recomposition a little bit more. So tell me, what is body recomposition when we use that term, and how did it go about the programming in this to make that happen? Because one of my favorite phrases is programs are promises. So what are we promising, and what can users expect at the end of this when they get through that 8 weeks?
That's gorgeous. I like that. Programs are promises. Well, the promise with this program is body recomposition. This is a body recomp program. So over the course of 8 weeks, the goal of body recomposition is simultaneously burning fat, losing fat, again, shedding that top layer, if you will, and building muscle. So we can do both at the same time. We've proven that time and again with many of our amazing programs. But this program really gives us an opportunity to do it again for an extended period of time and hopefully see even greater benefit because we are doing it over the course of 8 weeks. And the approach to this body recomposition program, this programming is very me-coded. So when you came to me with this, I was like, absolutely, I can't wait to sink my teeth into this and really turn it into something that I know, again, my loyalists and friends in our community who maybe haven't experienced a program with me yet, they're really going to love this. So the way that we broke this down, there's 4 days per week over the course of 8 weeks. So 4 training days. 2 of those days are heavily focused on maintaining strength, integrity, and intensity, or strength intensity, with 1 lower and 1 upper body focus day per week, right? And then the other 2 days are really focused on maximizing density and volume with full body circuits. We're really accelerating the heart rate. So over the course of these 4 days per week, and even though the programming is diverse in the approach in terms of the 2 different styles of training, across the board, we're maximizing our output, our work output, our cardiac output. We're maximizing caloric burn, and also our energy expenditure. So all of those things are coming together to help drive the main goal here, which is, again, fat loss while maintaining our strength and muscle mass that we've worked hard to build.
Yeah, I want to circle back to that because, again, we can do both. And sometimes people think it's kind of one or the other. I'm going to do cardio or I'm going to lift heavy and get strong. And this program really is so intelligent in the way that we structured it to be able to accomplish both those things within the training. So let's dive a little deeper into those 4 days. So you mentioned 2 full body days, and then we also have the lower and the upper day, but we use some unique approaches and methods to achieve this simultaneous fat loss and muscle building at the same time. So talk me through those approaches and those methods that we used.
Yeah, totally. And I thank you and your amazing skill set for always bringing diversity to our programs, because I think that that's important. We pride ourselves on our programming here at Tonal, and the truth of the matter is you can make this investment, but then, free will still exists, and you have to be encouraged and want to get onto Tonal and engage with these programs. So we do that through our diversity of programming, and this program is no different. So you're going to see metabolic resistance training days, and I actually, fun fact, I'll give a little something away here. I coined these emergency contact days because it is intense. These are intense days in the sense of these are our full body days. So you're seeing longer circuits, so giant sets, if you will. We're including compound, complex isolation movements. We're combining resistance and dynamic off-tonal efforts to, again, really increase that overall work output, cardiac output, training density. So we're packing a lot of work into a little bit of time. And you're going to experience the stress on your body in those sessions. So emergency contact days. The other 2 days are, again, focused on lower and upper body separately. And those are clusters and conditioning days. So we use clusters, which immediately means that we are accumulating a lot of volume in a little bit of time. So again, maximizing density and again, maximizing our output. These are our days that are really focused on maintaining our strength, integrity, and intensity. And we will progress those movement patterns that we focus on in our clusters from week to week and phase to phase. But we also cap off those clusters and conditioning days with conditioning, with metabolic conditioning. You're going to hear me talk about metabolism, metabolic adaptation, metabolic conditioning, and really what you can attribute that to is energy. So when I'm talking about like driving metabolic adaptation and encouraging you to just really give me more energy here to level up on your effort, level up on that RPE scale. We talk a lot about scaling your effort based on RPEs. Where would you put your effort right now on a scale of 1 to 10? There's a lot of ways that we can measure that, and I talk about all of those throughout the 8 weeks so that you can really have a good gauge on how hard am I actually working? Am I getting the most out of these workouts? So again, the 2 clusters and conditioning days are really there to help you feel like you're still working on building strength. And then the MRT days or the emergency contact days are there to just make you question everything.
I love that. So you heard it. Make sure you have your emergency contacts set before you go into your MRT days. I love the clusters and conditioning days because, again, we talked about how you can maintain muscle mass and build strength in this program. And those clusters, I love those days. We've both gotten to experience these workouts, now, and you're able to lift heavy weights rapidly, back to back to back. So you got to check in. You got to stay focused because we're moving fast while lifting heavy. And that takes a lot of mental resilience as well as the physical fortitude to get through these workouts. But that is really how we're able to maintain that strength was through that heavy lifting, but done in a way that really stimulates a conditioning adaptation. So
absolutely,
again, just a really fun approach. I love to say that principles are few, but methods are many. And so we're still rooting our programming in these principles that drive training adaptations, but we utilize different methods to get us there that really keeps us engaged and helps move the needle on these training adaptations in a way that maybe a different program didn't for us. So I think that this is a thing about the program that people are really going to love and come back for workout after workout.
I agree. That's really what it's all about.
So I have a little bit of a feeling about what the emergency contact days are going to feel like. But really, at the end of these workouts, what are people going to feel like? Are we sweaty? Are we breathless? Are we on the ground? Are my legs quivering? Am I not going to be able to wash my hair the next day? Break it down for me.
Literally all of it. Everything that you just said. These sessions are tough and challenging, both physically and mentally. And I appreciate that. Coming from a boxing background, I talk about that a lot in sessions of how the physical and the mental challenge just condition you in a whole new way. We're building not only physical conditioning, but also mental conditioning and the sense of self-efficacy over the course of each week and each phase, and just really cementing that from week 1 to week 8. And so yes, you are going to be breathless. You are going to be sweating. You're going to be physically exhausted. You are going to exert yourself. We're maintaining long efforts throughout these workouts. It is fast paced. Your heart rate is elevated. Yes, you're going to see giant sets. There's a through line element of conditioning. You're going to see clusters. You'll even see drop sets here. I mean, this program is going to keep you guessing, and it's going to keep you challenged. And in addition to some key movement progressions, which was another thing that I actually have not done in a previous program that I was excited about. Key movement progressions. I'll give it away now because why not? Something to look forward to.
That's what they're here for.
Yeah. So taking it all the way back, feeling all the way back to calisthenics. So we're progressing pull-ups, we're progressing our tricep dips, we're progressing our push-ups, and then we'll also be progressing a lot of our single leg exercises. And I make call-outs to these things as we see them throughout the program and as we see the progressions, just so that it's almost like a benchmark from week to week. And we're giving ourselves just another way to measure our progress. And I think that's really cool, a really cool additional thing that we can keep track of in addition to those inherent increases in the weight dial, and also improving our work capacity and just feeling generally more equipped from one workout to the next.
Yeah, it's like those non-scale victories, right? There's other ways that we can measure progress. And when you're going to commit to 8 weeks to be able to see something that might be a challenging exercise, push-ups are hard, pull-ups are hard. There's things that are difficult, but you see week after week, from week 2 to 3 to 4, all the way to 8, you really can see how you've progressed in some of those more challenging movement patterns. And that's just, again, another way of really showing up for yourself and seeing how you're adapting week in week from this beginning to the end of this program. And I just love that I was able to incorporate that into this program.
Yeah.
So again, when we first started coming up with the idea for this program and you and I started chatting, you were immediately so excited about this program. So why was it so important for you to create, to bring to our community? And overall, how is your training philosophy influenced and brought into this program?
Sure. I mean, again, this is the first time we've ever done an 8-week program, and we've seen the requests. Our community wants longer duration programs, so we're giving it to them. And we're doing it in a way that I like to say is training smarter, not harder. And that's not to say that these sessions aren't hard. We've already established these are going to be challenging. However, we're making the most of our time. These sessions are extremely efficient. They all fall underneath an hour.
Yeah.
And, I have hammered home the idea of maximizing density. And that's really what we're doing is we're packing a lot of work into these sessions under an hour, 4 days a week. So we're expecting, you should expect from yourself that you're going to show up and give 110% for those 4 sessions a week, because that's all we're asking for here. 4 sessions a week. We're training smarter, not harder. We're not having to look back and say, oh, I displaced my effort there. This was just extraneous. This was fluff. I talk a lot about that as well in terms of energy and effort, being wise with where you place your energy and where you place your effort. And that also falls in the umbrella of training smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
If you're going to expend energy and you're going to expend effort, make sure that it's worth your while and it is 100% of what you are capable of giving. Also, this really having 8 weeks with the members gives me an opportunity to establish a connection with our members that I haven't had the opportunity maybe to establish historically, or just because of the timeline. Having 8 weeks together is really special, and I don't take that lightly. So it excites me to have 8 weeks with the members and establish a connection between myself and the community, but also for the members to have 8 weeks with themselves, 8 weeks committing to a program where they can just kind of like uncover something new about themselves. And again, coming back to that idea of self-efficacy, maybe they uncover a new level of confidence, and then that translates over into other areas in their life.
I love that. You are going to take these members on a journey for 8 weeks. Again, bringing your expert coaching to them, 4 sessions a week for 8 weeks. Let's talk about that journey. We talked about kind of what a week would look like, our 4 days, but how are we going to take that from week 1 to week 8? What's that journey look like for them over the course of the entire program?
Sure. So we will break down the 8 weeks into 4 phases. So each week or each phase will be 2 weeks long, right? And as I mentioned, there will be quite a bit of variety, but also predictability in the sense of it is 4 sessions a week. It's the same training methods, and you can expect to show up and know what you're going to get, but also know what kind of effort you're going to be putting in, with the asterisk that, of course, there's going to be progressions that happen. We're going to progress in terms of volume and density. We're going to progress in terms of movement selection. You're going to see those inherent increases in the weight dial. You're going to progress simply because you feel yourself being more equipped and adapt to perform better at a higher level. And that's exciting. It's exciting to know that, oh, I can actually push myself harder now, and I can feel the difference, not only with our on-tonal resistance training efforts, but also with our off-tonal dynamic efforts, which are very true to my training style.
Signature Woody.
Love to bring them in. And I know we have some friends at home who like to skip those efforts, but we won't be skipping those efforts in 8 weeks to lean. They're very important and very integral to the programming. So with that, 4 phases, the first 2 weeks, we can really expect to set the stage. This is our foundational strength. This is where we're getting acclimated to the movements. We're locking in our movement mechanics, and we're preparing ourselves for what's to come, really. Also in this stage, I talk a lot about just having self-awareness and being honest with yourself about your starting point and building trust from that moment on, and using some like focus techniques like visualization, empowerment, and finding your deep-seated motivation to really continue to drive your progress over the next 3 phases. So in the second phase will be weeks 3 and 4. Again, these are 2-week phases. And in the second phase, we start to see some increased volume and density, as I mentioned. These weeks, we start to graduate from setting the stage and having self-awareness and having trust in ourselves to, developing personal agency and becoming more intrinsically motivated and just disciplined, period. We're here, we're committed, and we're showing up. And by the end of that second phase, we've set a standard for ourselves, and we're going to stick to that standard, and we're going to rise to wherever we set that bar, because now we're halfway through the 8-week program. By the time we get to phase 3, then you're going to see programming that's in its most basic format, more similar to phase 1. However, we are going to be seeing longer giant sets. So, and again, with that improved work capacity, it's going to inherently get a little bit more metabolic, more increased demand, and also some new movement variations, which is always exciting. Here in this phase, we talk a lot about just like mastering the chaos of progress, and really the pursuit that we're on, this 8 weeks to lean journey, the pursuit of becoming the best version of ourselves. Like, this is now our personality. Like, we've been doing this thing for 5 or 6 weeks, and we're going to keep going to the finish line. And then the finish line is, of course, phase 4, our final 2 weeks. And in this final week, you can expect to see, of course, your highest output across the board: volume, work output, cardiac output, all of those gorgeous things that we've been working so hard to establish and build upon over the past 6 weeks. And then in this final phase, you can look forward to just cementing your role as a leader in your own life, and seeing how, like I mentioned, your success here on Tonal in your workouts can really translate and transcend into other areas of your life. And by the end of that final phase, I'm really just going to be passing the torch and telling you to go rock it.
I love that. I can see already how your coaching connects to the programming, and how that's really going to help users maintain their intention and focus from phase to phase to phase. Because 8 weeks, you could be like, wow, I'm getting tired. Like, I have to continue to put in this effort. And maybe sometimes it's really difficult to show up, but all of these very intentional, systematic progressions that are made in this program, along with your coaching and your motivation and the things that you're going to bring for their mental resilience, all of that is really going to be what drives people to the finish line of 8 weeks to lean. So
that's exactly right, Jenna.
I love it. So we have touched on so many things today. We talked about the intensity and the effort. This is a strength program overall. So can people talk to me about what people can just expect from reps, sets, durations? You talked a little bit about off-tonal movements. Can you give me a little bit of a sneak peek of what like the workout might feel like from that perspective?
Sure. I mean, these will be challenging in terms of the reps that we will see. Like on those clusters days, we're working at some really low rep ranges. And while that may feel intimidating, I'll say that also with an asterisk, especially because it's in a clusters format. And you're like, whoa, I need to be lifting my heaviest loads with minimal rest and back-to-back clusters. And it is going to be a challenge yet again, but we have strategically programmed these so that on the back end, your suggested weight that you see in those clusters is a little bit lower, and that allows you to achieve the goal that we're aiming for on those clusters days, which is specifically speed. We talk a lot about producing power, so speed and force behind your movement, or velocity and force behind your movement when we are in those clusters. And lowering that suggested weight allows us to do that. It also makes those clusters a little bit more approachable. On our other days, we can see our reps range anywhere from 8 to 12. So we're playing with the rep range from week to week and phase to phase. And the longer the effort becomes, the harder it becomes, of course. And we see some of those also longer efforts as we progress our dynamic efforts, and they get longer. And we're just expecting you to really endure so that you can see the benefits of also your muscular and cardiovascular endurance.
That the way that it's built from week to week to week, they're prepared for it by the time they get to those longer sets and durations. I love that. So flipping the script a little bit, before we close things out today, we all know that Woody loves a good snack, love cooking in her kitchen. So any inspiration for our members, our community on fueling during this program?
100%. I actually talk about this a lot in classes because these are such high exertion sessions. Like, you need to be properly fueled. I mean, I close out every class saying rest up, refuel. And at some point you stop listening to me, but I'm serious. Like, you need to be fueling properly. And we're talking about, of course, the major macro categories. Protein is always going to be number one. We have carbs, we have fats. You're going to need carbohydrates for this program. Like, keep it simple across the board. Plan to prepare. What's the saying? I always forget it. Plan to prepare to fail. That's what it is. I got it. I did it. But yes, as long as you're planning ahead is everything. Not only in terms of how you're scheduling your workouts, but also at the start of the week, just take some extra time to plan what your meals are going to look like. So it's something that you don't have to think about. You're removing the decision making. You're removing any possible lapses in your training and in your commitment to these 8 weeks.
I love it. So again, carbs are key during this kind of high intensity work, but also protein, super key when we're talking about preserving muscle mass in a recomposition program.
Exactly.
So, one last question for you. What was your pump up song before you got ready for these workouts?
Well, it's funny. I will always go back to my tried and true Mariah Carey. When she sings Fantasy, it transports me to another dimension.
The dimension of the 90s.
Yeah, that's the one.
I love that.
What's yours?
Oh, always comes back to Christina Aguilera, Fighter. I can't,
really?
That one always just, it hits down deep.
A true Christina fan.
It really gets me over the finish line of any workout I'm in. So, Woody, any last parting words for our community before they embark in this program?
Yes, I want to say that I'm so excited for you to take advantage of this 8-week program. I have put my heart and soul into this thing, and I'm really excited to connect with you on the other side of your Tonal screen. And I'm looking forward to you not only experiencing greater results, but also unlocking this new level to your training that maybe you did not know existed, powering you forward to the rest of your journey on Tonal, and just having this newfound level of confidence that you can do hard things.
That is absolutely correct. Woody, thank you so much for giving us a peek behind the curtain of all things 8 weeks to lean. For everyone watching, if you are ready to push past plateaus and become a stronger, leaner you, then 8 weeks to lean is for you. We cannot wait to see you show up for yourself. We'll see you on Tonal.